going back, I'm talking about Buckeye. You wrap a dollar around it and put it on your person and it brings money. Another thing, I gave you one here. Cause this is well, the one you want to deal with is this one here. This is the goddess Lakshmi. I put this in your fold out. This is the goddess, huh?
And also you take the money oil and rub it.
Oh, there's some stuff called money. They sell all that down there.
Yeah.
Money oil, court case oil.
Court case.
Yeah, niggas need that shit much as niggas do. They got all that shit down there. That's the little magic stuff. Mitchell Street. I don't know the name of that street.
It's near Underground, right?
Mitchell, I think is that Pryor Street? Let me see. Okay, I'll tell you what street it is. There's the street right behind the one that they catch the bus. It's Alabama, and it's Pryor.
It's right. Fire.
What side street? I think it's Pryor.
Yeah, it's right after P Street.
Right when you're on P Street, you go on the next block, and that's the block.
Yeah, Miller's Rexall Drug Stuff. I think that's Pryor Street. That's the street. And you go there and they sell all the magic stuff. Candles are very essential. And this is Lakshmi. This is the energy that's on the planet at this time. This is Mayat return. She wouldn't return as in the word Mayat. She returned as Lakshmi. This is the one that gives you her history. She's the goddess of prosperity and wealth. But she goes further than monetary. But here, right here, on the second page of her information is a mantra that you can do, an affirmation every morning and every night. They got 7 times a day, but most niggas work. This is for people who ain't got a lot of time and can want to sit around 7 times a day. But if you did it in the morning and did it at night, it's the same as the Think and Grow Rich concept. Feng Shui, she's the original Feng Shui goddess. So you want to clean your house. Clean your house up real good. And then use that Crayola to get those negative entities out of there. And then you want to recite this thing to her. And she brings prosperity. You see what I'm saying? The gods will come back, but they'll come back, when they come back based on what reason they will show up. Well, we're not dealing with concepts out of books, and we're talking about real life shit that's actually happening. And so they will come up at this particular time. This is Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the Egyptian Heru, or Hathor, which that temple of Dendera is built after. She's Sumerian Ishtar, Babylonian Ishtar, Sumerian Anana, Greek Aphrodite, Roman Venus, West African Erzuli, Izuli in Voodoo. She has many names, but she is also the East Indian Lakshmi. The reason why she's Lakshmi is because they never stopped worshiping her. So as a result, the energy still goes up. We're going to go into how this magic works in a few minutes. But anyway, this is the one that you call on. You align yourself up. But this is prosperity is also not necessarily just monetary. See, sometimes you miss it. Let me give you an example. Me and the sister got a certain energy. So when you get the right two souls come together, one that's equivalent to my energy, then certain things start happening. So when we start to bumping and grinding, motherfucker, thunderstorms start happening and all this. And so as a result, when we realized what was going on, the goddamn roof and ceiling fell in the dining room because of the water, because it had a roof in the leak, a roof leak. So, now where was I going with this shit? I was going somewhere with this thing. Yeah. Okay, now prosperity. So now this brother came and we said, "Now we got to get that roof fixed before we can get the ceiling fixed." Because all it's going to do is wet the sheetrock and it's going to do the same thing. And the plaster. Brother came by one Sunday, got on top of the roof, patched the damn roof, patched up the leak. Now, you call somebody to do that, they might charge you $700. But see, That's how she works sometimes. So sometimes you might, so you don't just look all the time based on the money. Currency, sometimes the prosperity comes in several ways.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Several ways. You might have a certain hookup.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you late for a plane, and then all of a sudden the plane get delayed based on weather. Well, that's spirits that do that. You see. So now going back to your question, once you set up an environment, pretty soon you will just know they're around based on the essence and certain things that might happen. Let me give you an example. They got a temple over in an island called Java, and there's a temple called Borobudur. And on this temple wall, they got the history of slavery, and both that and the temple of Angkor Wat in Cambodia. I got a tape on this shit, Africans and Asians.
Yeah.
And so I did a whole lot of work on the Angkor Wat stuff, not knowing that it was on his tape. I had watched the tape about a year earlier, but my research would led me to Angkor Wat in Cambodia, Vietnam. Then I was going to this temple called Borobudur on the island of Java in the south in Indonesia. So I did a lecture in Chicago last weekend, and a week ago today, I sat down. I told people I got to go back and get this book. It costs about $75. I got to find this book. It costs $125. I said, but I got to break down and get it because these pictures you get, this book is now maybe $300 just to get these kind of things. This book here is $300 just to get these. You see, those pictures of Lakshmi, that book is about $200-300. So what happened is this. I went to this store in Chicago and I found the book. The book was $125 new. It was $75 used. I said, damn, I wish I could. And I opened. I said, well, the bind is a little cracked. I said, I wish he could take something off this book. And just then he walked by and he said, hey man, I can't sell that book. He said, look, it's separated from the cover. I'm like, you can't see? He said, well, I can just give it to you half price for $35. I said, sold. Now I knew damn well when I took that book off that shelf, that book was nothing wrong with it. Later on, when I got that thing, it was the god Shiva that came forth and said, I'll fuck the book up so you can get it. Because there's some stuff up in there that I need. So what I'm trying to give you examples of how prosperity also works. You see what I'm saying on that particular level. on that particular level. That's how the prosperity things also works. And we're going to get in a whole lot of things. So let's post some libation, because today is a very powerful day. We got a lot of books and stuff like that. We got a lot of books that we got to give to people. And like I said, the book list is some of the selection. And we'll go through some more books that you can add to that book list, and I'll probably update the book list. The book list. But I want to pour some libations right quick. Pouring the libations changes the energy in the room, it changes the energy in your house, and these particular entities are no different than formulas. So when you pour these libations and stuff, it is for protection, but it's also drawing out the energy from the inside of you when you pour the libations. So that's the reason why we pour libations. Why we pour libations. Be sure to note, and we'll get into this whatever. We're not talking about moralism, because that's political. Most of the moralistic things was the ancient Romans, the Hebrews, and later on the Islam, which is interesting here because, and it makes common sense that the Quran was put together by the Jews. Now the reason why we say that is well, if you know anything about ancient texts, if it wasn't put by them, why the first 5 books of Moses end up in the Bible and the Quran? You understand what I'm saying? If it was a new book, it wouldn't have those, because there's a lot of ancient texts floating around. Why the first 5 books of Moses end up in those 2 things? So that means we're talking about a political thing to further a doctrine throughout that land. Very key. They're also supposedly inspired by God. Well, Depends on what you understand based on that, or what do they mean by that. But whenever you pour libations to these entities, you acquiesce a certain amount of power. Now the key here is when you humble yourself and not arrogant. It was never to humble yourself to a deity. You humble yourself so that you allow your soul time to access itself, or you allow your soul time to express itself. So what happens is this here. Most of us, we function based on ego, which is the illusionary self that is fooled into thinking that it is real. But it's only an illusion. The soul is on the inside of us, sleep. So most people don't exist. Their souls are asleep. The reason why you are here is because your souls have just woke up. So we're like in a daze period, and we're searching to find ourselves. So the more and more you neutralize the ego with the humility, it's not humbling yourself to God above. It's humbling yourself so that you give your soul inside an opportunity to wake up and to know itself. That's the whole deal based on the ego thing. You see, based on the ego. And so, and you do this by rooting out and asking yourself the question, well, why am I here? Why am I doing this? If I'm doing this for some type of self-aggrandizement, some type of pleasure based on entertainment, because I want a new form of something to appease myself with, or to show off with, or am I doing this because I generally want to know the truth and want to get to the end of why is it the way the world is the way it is. Like they said in the Matrix, you always knew something was wrong with the world. You just didn't know why. So in so many words, that is your soul saying, I want to know myself. So you humble yourself by neutralizing your ego. By neutralizing your ego so that you, so your soul gets to know itself. There's several techniques and stuff on this, and one of the things is, so the first thing you got to do here is you have to basically, because I know some of the people here, and this is very, very basic, some of the people here have shortcomings because of family. Right now, your family, if there's something fucked up in your life, it's because you got some family somewhere with some kind of thing, you're trying to live up to something with somebody else. In the spirit world, what you call your family is not really your family at all. See, what happens is this, these souls get down here through choosing a certain path or a certain vessel to come through. Once it gets down here, they are your family in the rearing stages. Once you are grown, they no longer are your family anymore. That's why you can be conscious and trying to do some stuff and your family don't want to hear it. You see what I'm saying? They're not your family anymore like you think. You have no relationship with them. Certain things happen also. Some souls come down here to teach the parents. And some souls come down here to get taught some type of lesson by the parent. But when you become enlightened, you are a star child, which means in so many words, you're not even related to those people. You see what I'm saying? Every now and then you'll get a family where you get 2 and 3 people that's conscious. I got 2 brothers that's conscious. And disconscious. And my mama is conscious if she hears from my youngest brother. She don't want to hear shit I got to tell her. But I'm just trying to say, hell, there is there's questionable even in a conscious family. And then in most of the people, you might be the only person in that family that's conscious. But it means in actuality, what we're talking about here is this being an individual. In a particular aspect is your path is unique to you. And I'm going ahead of myself now. So you pour these libations, these are to the certain entities, but these particular entities are not for you to venerate or worship. These entities are given power, and in so many words, the power is being harnessed from you. And in so many words, they are empowering you or opening up the centers inside of you. So the gods is 160 something chakras, and there's 160 something pantheon or whatever. multiple things. You're only calling on the energy centers within yourself. You are the vessel that's having this experience. You see what I'm saying? Y'all get where I'm coming from? Any more questions before we go into question and answer right quick? Before we go into the libation? Okay, let's do the libation. Now, go ahead, yeah, good.
If you can't find the Creole, is there anything else you can use?
What you got? What you get?
As far as
Yeah, if you can use, yeah, you can use.
I would say regular
Just regular.
cleansing. Yeah.
No, we'll just start with the sage. Bring in the
As far
sage.
as that, oh yeah, sage and frankincense, myrrh.
Frankincense and myrrh, to clean out the thing. Sage.
Yeah.
I got it.
And also, you can also use this. Now, this is different. Now, this says rich and rare. Let's just start with this, how you make an elixir. The art of distillation, or the art of alcohol, came up to Europe by the Moors. The Moors got this science out of Egypt. It came out of the mystery schools of Tahuti, which gives you the alchemy. Alchemy is the study of all the elements in the universe. So alchemy, you get the word chemistry comes from alchemy, because chemistry, chem. But alchemy is the high art of ancient Kemet. You know, like anybody in there motherfucker talking about, I'm Osiris, and I'm this, and I'm doing this kind of shit, and he never taught you about alchemy. He ain't talking about ancient Kemet. Let me see if there's a... That's why I got the book list, because that's... Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. I have to go with the spirit. I know I said I'm going to do this, but I have to go when the spirit give me shit, that's when I got to roll with it. Let's see if I put this book down there. Kundalini, see if there's any book. Dictionary of Ancient Deities, which is a must-have. The Emerald Tablet by Dennis William Hauck, H-A-U-C-K. That's a book on alchemy. He gives you this a historical aspect of alchemy. How it came from Hemmitt up into Europe and even in the United States. Half the shit they be doing rituals is to line up certain things alchemically. The government. The alchemical aspect here is the high art of ancient Kemet. So what is the royal art? Everything they talk about breaks back down to alchemy, which is the study of every particle in the universe that's outside that we have with nature, but also on the inside of the body. And then, okay, then there's some stuff outside of the universe, that's outside of Universe 8, which is what we are in. Universe 8. We talk about Universe B. So they'll tell you something like comets and meteors or something that was leftover particles formed that was left behind after creation. Well, the great mystery here is inside of our bodies, because we are the ancient entities, we got some stuff on the inside of us that is outside of this known universe. And that's what melanin is. Because there's Universe A and Universe B. There's a sister. There's several things, but you want to get, what's the sister? Her name is, you look at, her name is, there's a book, I think it's called The Modern Sex Magic. But get that book, Modern Sex Magic. And in the back of that book, there's a woman talking about orgasmic magic. Orgasmic magic. In there. We're going to go into some of that today. Modern sex magic. And in there she's talking about going between Universe A and Universe B. Universe B. Universe B is the other side. That's where we're slipping into. Everything inside of our body, in the universe, and even outside of the universe is inside of our body. We're the ones that have that. Because we are nothing but what's left behind from a leftover dimension inside of us. We'll go into that in a few minutes, what I'm talking about here. Y'all all right? So now, when you pour the libations, you line up those particular frequencies. Now, what this is made up of is this here. So, they understood the art of alchemy, the Moors that came out, it was nothing but Egyptian priests. And so the alcohol that they taught, the distillation that they taught the Europeans was a more holistic part. Still alcohol, well, what the Europeans did to come out cheap or whatever, they had what is called their fermentation where they split up certain grains and stuff and made vodka one here, gin one thing here, bourbon one thing here, scotch one thing here. Whereas the ancient one is those particular distillation is based on light and dark. So listen to what I did here. So I went and bought some R&R. This is a rich and rare Canadian imported rum, Canadian imported whiskey. And what I did is I go in and I would mix this with some white rum or white gin. So you mix light and dark and put it back together. Therefore, the entities will come. And so when I mixed it and made it back into my elixir, this stuff can heal. So let me give you an example. I had some entities try to strike me and hit me or whatever. And we're going to get to the other side too as far as some ones that don't want us to rise. I'll get into that. But in so many words, they messed my whole mouth up. And so some of the entities came through and said, mix the light and dark. They said, you got what you got? I said, well, I got some gin and I got some scotch. So mix that shit together. And so what happened was it was a conduit. So when I mix it together with the alcohol, what it is those spirits came up in there and they repaired my mouth better than what it was 20 years ago. Everything in your body can be healed. You can take the long way with herbs and the diet and all this type of thing. But then again, you can go with some high magic and heal your shit. And stuff like that and all. So certain ways to heal certain things also. So what I did was this is a mixture. This is called elixir. We'll get into the elixir also as far as for magic. But anytime you buy any alcohol and stuff, you know, like any high-end shit like cognac and all that old stuff, they drink the hell out of it. And that tequila. What's the one of that one they like? Cuervo. You see what I'm saying? So so this is just a conduit to bring those spirits through. And so that's how that works. And there ain't been no religious organization that didn't do it. Like I said, they even did it up until the early 1900s, until Welch's came up with Welch's grape juice. And then they started having wine. You see what I'm saying? In the regular churches. So the alcohol is all, even at the Holy Roller Church, up until the 1800s, they had damn wine. You see what I'm saying? At least. So that's just a part of the spirit life. So now this also, if you didn't have Creole, you can also hook your house up by splitting four elements also and bring these things through. Okay, let's start out. But since today is a day of Lakshmi and the goddesses of love, we'll start off with them. So the people that know what I'm talking about. Lakshmi, Ashe means power, and several other things, but one of the things basically means power. Lakshmi, Ashe. Vishnu, Ashe. Venus, Ashe. Aphrodite, Ashe. Astarte, Ashe. Ishtar, Ashe. Anana, Ashe. Erzuli, Ashe. Derbaledo, Ashe. Edawedo, Ashe. Ganesha, Ashe. Brahma, Ashe. Shiva, Ashe. Sarasvati, Ashe. Durga, Ashe. Now give me some loud Ashes. Pavati, Ashe. Dincho Swasta, Ashe. Rama, Ashe. Krishna, Ashe Radha, Ashe Kartika, Ashe Kali, Ashe Ganesha, Ashe Hanuman, Ashe Garati, Ashe Tara, Ashe Durga, Ashe Lalita, Ashe Yama, Ashe Sita, Ashe Rama, Ashe. These are Native American spirits that came, earth, wind, fire, air, water, ether, that came through on election day. I guess they needed to come through to balance out something. Yakaifa, Ashe Bozan, Ashe Yabez, Ashe Freeman, Ashe Zimrig, Ashe Kuparini, Ashe Bilfra, Ashe Treyanka, Ashe Puriyanka, Ashe Lavados, Ashe Luigi, Ashe Akama, Ashe Porowado, Ashe Ogawadi, Ashe Leowa, Ashe Godugo, Ashe Biwasta, Ashe Yamagi, Ashe Brigida, Ashe Segun, Ashe Teku, Ashe Haniel, Ashe Tarek, Ashe Hanai, Ashe Arun, Ashe Aduma, Ashe Joe Harris, Ashe Artemis, Ashe Athena, Ashe Diana, Ashe Apollo, Ashe. Just going right along. We got Ishtar, Ashe. Otisha, I say, Tiesha, I say, Cheola, I say Shumala, I say Omagumu, I say Alcala, I say Lokeo, I say Tacambo, I say Lalila, I say Owalensu, I say Esa, I say Monu, I say Noku, I say Mana, I say Imatu, I say Kiti, I say Joba, I say Babylonia, I say Aya, I say Oya, Ayo, I say Amalek, I say Drakon, I say Notorio, I say Mona, I say Neptune, I say Litu, I say Yehelo, I say Temi, I say Zati, I say Kasimbo, I say Nisaba, I say Apiulukea, I say Pazuzu, I say Lucifer, I say Numeresh, I say Mayatek boat, I say Sektek boat, I say Sekmet boat, I say Seka boat, I say Hinu boat, I say Heru boat, I say Heru's boat, I say Set boat, I say Turkey boat, I say Hin boat, I say Amp boat, Hindu boat, I say Ra boat, I say Antu boat, I say New boat, I say Osar boat, I say Aset boat, I say a few of those, Amin Ra, I say Nekabet, Uwajet, Amit, Apep, I say Hemmitt spirits, I say four sons of Harish, I say Anpu, I say Tahuti, I say Thoth, I say Sashet, I say Selket, Basset, I say Setmet, I say Setmayat, I say Raherukahuti, I say Newt, I say Haddock, I say Rahakut, I say Hamaku, I say Hamakis, I say Hamerti, I say just a few more. Also I take your Minty, Satis, Anakis, I say Satis, I say Heru, I say Nebhurt, I say Isosatis, I say Mut, I say Rerik, I say Medusa, Hamadadi, Diana, Psyche, Naoku, Diana, Sebek Kronos, Dao, Melania, Atalanta, Arestabu, Achita, Minerva, Gargan, Melasi, Gambalawedo, I say Adawedo, Simbi, Azuli, Bridget, Ansamani, Arabi, Paddock, Alisa, Delik, Atamet, Anana, Astarte, Aphrodite, Ashura, Adeth, Babelo, Shri, Baba Yaga, Melusine, Kaliya, Terra, Sid Mahamadaya, Kamala, Hekati, Jupiter, Stephanie, Surah, Sophia, Dea, Harry Hera, Shiva Hamaphrodite, Kundalini, Hermanubis, Athene, Netronet, Pan, Dionysus, Tammuz, Adonis, Baal, El, Mil, Minovis, Selecta, Terebus, Pegasus, Yama, Agosema, Metatron, Nagas, Momus, Unkulu, Nakufa, Umbelaga, Umbaba, Uwawa, Labu, Bajas, Naini, Eros, Papakrat, Baby Krishna, Baby Buddha, Guade. There's a few more, y'all. I know that strenuous, but you know, I gotta do this at least 3 times a month, or if I don't do them every day in the house. Mama Shula, Mama Pasha, Asheeshka, Mama Coca, Leowa, Actio, Kosiku, Sirio, Genovita, Astanaman, Alatan, Maka, Astanaditi, Shugaradek. Let's see if there's any more. I think that'll do for right now. 1, 2, 3 family members, the Hemmitt family, Shaw family, Deities family. Start calling out your family members. Just pass on. Ashe, Ashe. So, okay then. So, get that out of the way. You give the gods their energy. Now, let's go into, now, is this thing picking up a glare? Yeah, I can see.
I can see that. You put it down some.
Yeah, you can put it down some, yeah. Yeah.
I had a question.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. Give me a question.
I heard you say Lucifer is one of the names that we say. Like
Exactly.
Who exactly is that?
Lucifer means the pineal gland. Remember, one man's devil is another man's god.
Yes.
The Egyptians, one that you got to take that and roll that. Yeah, that way. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's cool. Can you still see that? I don't want it too dark now.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. One man's devil is another man's god. What they call satanic is the gods of yesterday. That means that you got one group of people. It came in, and it is customary in the ancient world, if you got a succeeding religion that's coming after the preceding spiritual system, is you always name the other one gods and goddesses the devils. So Lucifer just means light bringer, and the light bringer is the pineal gland. That's why even in the Bible, that's why the ancient priests understood understood that the neophyte or the common day people, they got moralism, mores and different things. So you don't bump into nothing. You gotta have a strict code of ethics. Most of those ethics that they had was basically political. Those things went along with civilization. They went along with the people. So in so many words, they would take moralistic things that would be codes and ethics to survive in the actual civilization, survive in the actual community, and they would encode it into these particular sacred texts. And over the years, the people started thinking that these things actually had something to do with God. And so moralism has very little to do with spiritualism. Let me give you an example. The modern day Christians say when they study the ancient texts, yeah, whatever you got to do. You got to turn it up a little bit. It's a little too dark. Just to do a little, it's a little too dark. I just want to take a little bit, but you can still take some of that. Yeah. Let me know when it brightens up.
Oh no, you can close it.
Oh.
Yeah, close it. Make it darker. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see something. Okay. Man, what was my thought? Okay.
Modern day Christians.
The modern day Christians, was something I was getting ready to say about moralism. Okay, about moralism. As far as moralism goes, you would have one is set in motion for behavior. It has very little to do with spirituality. Spirituality is something totally different. The modern day Christians say when they look at ancient texts from the ancient world, when we talk about ancient world, we talk about before 2,000 years, before what is religions. Religions are a new form of worship. Religions are only about 2,000 years old. Before then they had educational systems which included a whole spiritual ecology also. So when they looked into the ancient world, they said these people didn't have moralism. No, they didn't have moralism. They were dealing with religious things. Moralism has something to do with your rites of passage based on how you was raised. So the Africans went through a rites of passage. And in their rites of passage, based on their culture and customs, they learned certain things was taboo that you just didn't do. You see what I'm saying? That coincided with society. Well, like incest and different things like that. No, they had people that didn't even have a jailhouse. Right. Why? Because murder was taboo for most of the part. You see, most people didn't get murdered unless they had invasions where people came in and killed them. But as far as the society, it was taboo. You see, it's hard for us to think of that because we've been living with a person. We've been living in civilized barbarism.
Right.
It's not civilization, it's civilized barbarism. There's a difference. You see what I'm saying? So, even John Henry Clark took a bunch of children over to Africa in the 80s, and they played with the African children. It might be a little different now, because they done had some shit that done went on over there with the government and put Africans against Africans, but I think it was in the 80s, maybe in the 70s, when they played with African children for 3 months. It was little children. He took them over there and they played. And they said, after that, he said, what happened that was different than America the whole time you were playing? They came and they couldn't figure it out. He said, you've been over here for 3 months playing with these children, and the entire 3 months you didn't have one fight. So it's possible that you could have a civilization where certain things, you understand what I'm saying, is not synonymous, are not prevalent in your civilization because you understand what I'm saying? Because you have a rites of passage and a customs and culture that don't produce that. You understand what I'm saying? So in this particular case, you didn't have need for behavioral systems encoded into a religion. So therefore you could be about the level of religion, or no, of spirituality. You see, so in so many words, when you really think about it, we have been cheated out of spirituality because so much of what we deal with in religion is based on how you behave. Right. And spirituality have nothing to do with that. You understand what I'm saying? So one is a political system that was devised by a group of people that want to keep a control over people in a certain society.
Right.
And the other one is a spiritual system, which has nothing to do with what you do morally or social behavior, because you learned that from growing up in your society. You understand what comes when you get this? Now try to understand this particular part. Spirit told us that those books came about because they knew prophecy. They knew that the white man was coming out of an ice box and coming out of a cave. They didn't have no form of a civilization and behavior. And he would need a guidebook to go about just to learn how to be human. So therefore, a lot of this stuff was encoded into the Bible, which makes sense to me, because look what he did to the world with the damn Bible. Can you imagine what this beast would do if he didn't have no code of ethics? Hell, he damn near broke every law known to man on the planet to this day with the Bible. As a matter of fact, the devil in the book don't even go with the white man, because the devil in the book is a damn Mickey Mouse. They got to create a new mythological character to deal with this white boy, because we ain't never had nothing in mythology to this day to describe what diabolical shit this motherfucker doing. You name it. You understand what I'm saying? You name it. 90% of the foods you eat on the planet now is all artificial. You see what I'm saying? And don't fuck around no more and go to these Japanese and Chinese restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
Those are cats and rats.
Yes, sir.
Those are rats. That's a whole nother story. I got a lecture on that shit recently. Those are rats they eat. The Mexicans came over and they know how to make a rat as big as a chicken. The Mexicans now work for the Chinese, and they started, and so what it is a cut. So and then the CDC got in on it. And so what they started doing is they started serving rats. It's a delicacy over there. Where they are. If it's in China, if it moves, they eat it. That's on National Geographic. So they start serving rats, and the CDC said, good, serve them to niggas. And in the black, and if you go to the underground, you'll see. If you go to the underground now, you'll see on the food court, you'll see everybody with a toothpick. Used to be one Chinese, Japanese place with a toothpick. Now everybody got toothpick. You can walk around the food court and eat the food, and by the time you get to the end of the food court, you can be full. That's because most of that shit is rat. Because they make them as big as chickens now. The CDC is in on it too to see what they do. Get the movie Demolition Man. It was eating rat burgers. And they say, you see any cows around here? Now the reason why I know, I just did a lecture 2 weeks ago in Columbia, South Carolina, and the sister said they was on the news telling niggas not to kill these rats, because they got rats now running around as big as dogs and cats. Because the Mexicans is done, the Mexicans are everywhere, and they know how to feed them to make them big. And they say, well, don't feed them, they say, because the Mexicans use them for their chili and their tacos. That's why Taco Bell was all up in damn Demolition Man.
Right.
And so I said, wait a minute, hold on, why did the damn news come on? NBC News down in Columbia, South Carolina, Channel 10 will come on and say, don't poison the rats because the Mexicans use them for chili and food. Instead of telling the damn Mexicans, look, you motherfuckers don't be eating no rats because these niggas is going to poison them. But it was the other way around. That's because they're serving them shits in the restaurants too. They don't want people to get killed with the wrong people walking in and get a poison rat. That's what I'm trying to say. In the Asian food, when you got all that shit chopped up, and since everything tastes like chicken anyway,
There you go. There you go.
don't eat no motherfucking. I'll tell you, don't eat none of that Asian food, man. Because that shit, and the soy products now, they got a synthetic, it's called genetically modified soybean, and it shuts down melanin.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But the point I was making was here is that white man needed the Bible in a code book just to learn how to behave, because he didn't have the behavior. And look what this motherfucker did with the book. You know what I'm saying? We got the land, he got the Bible, now we got the Bible and he got the land. And that's been the world supremacy all over. And that's why this Pope down was great. Because that was the papacy has been one of the worst realms, and even sanctioned slavery.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
He's a Nazi too.
And the new one is a doggone Nazi.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The old one helped smuggle, gave the cyanide pills supposedly to Hitler, but we don't even know that because they can't find Hitler's body. They say Hitler died in the 50s or something. They smuggled him out of there.
Yeah.
And they said on the History Channel they had so many lookalikes.
And just to share with you, when I was in Germany, this girl I was with at the time, her and her brother told me that Hitler was staying in California.
I would agree because Hitler was a part of occult society. And the biggest people in the occult in America at that particular time was the people over out in California. Out in California. That's why the Master Farad Muhammad, whatever it was, which was a real person actually, he was out in California before he went to, and he was out there teaching some white folks out in one of the schools out in California, and he used them to finance his trip, and he doubled back and went to down New York, went to Detroit, and started teaching the black people there. And the white folks was mad, was trying to kill his ass because he used their money to get over there to teach them, and he taught them for a couple of years, and then they hauled ass over here because everybody was looking for a spiritual master from the east, and he used them to get over here at one of them occult societies and stuff like that in California, and then haul ass to Detroit. And once they found out, when Elijah Muhammad surfaced, and they found out when they tracked him, they had a worldwide manhunt. When the government tracked him, they found out he was in Detroit. He had taught these black people for 3 years, and then they was trying to kill his ass. And that's what that shit was about. So yeah, California was real big based on that. You're right. Hitler survived that whole thing. Hitler survived that type of stuff. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, give me. Go ahead. It's all. That's what we're here for.
When you said when you were going through the libation, and I was going Yashe. When you said Lucifer, I went Yashe because in my mind immediately I went to the morning star.
Right. That was the part I was getting ready to say that I forgot. In the Bible,
because you didn't say Satan, you didn't say Satan.
Well, no, even that.
But you went to Gorgon, you went to Medusa, you went to Pegasus, which is a flying horse.
Yeah, Pegasus, all that.
And then you didn't say Jesus, but you said Athena and you said Artemis, I think, and But basically, but Jesus is Greek for God Zeus, and you didn't.
Jesus.
And you didn't introduce.
I didn't do Zeus because Zeus is a demon. We're gonna get into that in a few minutes, but I want to piggyback off of what you said here. Two things. In the Bible, Lucifer appears in Genesis as the morning star. By the time you get to Revelation, Jesus is the morning star.
Right, that's true. Right.
Is the morning star.
So,
the mystery here is
that's why I say,
right. See, if you're talking about formula, see, even the damn priest that put this together understood this. Okay, you look at this. Two incidents, and one is the same Jesus story. They say that what Job wrestled with the angel all night, and in daybreak, Jacob wrestled with the angel all night, and in daybreak, he saw the face of God, which was called what? Pineal gland. Pineal. Pineal in Kemet is called Heru, light. Heru in Kemet is called great face. Heru in Greek is called hero, which means what? The great face, face of God. So Heru is face of God. You see what I'm saying? Pineal is the great face of God. You see what I'm saying? Now, Jesus conquers Satan. When you conquer something, it's not talking about a physical fight. When you conquer something, you synthesize. So you say, I have conquered mathematics. You understand what I'm saying? Satan in the darkness is the ancient primordial realm that he doesn't know about because he hadn't gone through it. So it's seen as evil, prime evil. It's just those mysteries, or is it those images that are dormant that you don't know anything about it. When you conquer it, you become it or you synthesize it. So in so many words, what this is talking about, Old Testament, New Testament, old body, new body. The ancient priests, okay, now let's get this right. The ancient priests understood this thing as being not good and evil, but different formulas. Now, so to break this down, the ancient priests, you got your exoteric religions, and you have the esoteric spirituality. The exoteric Christianity is Christianity, you know, Jesus and on the cross and all that. The esoteric Christianity is Gnosticism. That's where it came from, because it came out of the Egyptians had this thing in Coptic Egypt. They even had a Jesus there. And the Romans took their stuff, made the New Testament out of these Gnostic texts, and then killed off the Gnostics. See, when the Gnostics said, hey, wait a minute, we got this Jesus, and there ain't no man walking around no damn Jerusalem or no Rome with no Herod and all that shit. It's talking about Horus and the end of this and all this, and they said, kill them motherfuckers off. You see what I'm saying? The esoteric Hebrew is the Torah, the laws of Moses, and all that lie. The exoteric is Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic system, the tree of life. The esoteric Islam is Islam and Moses, and the angel spoke to Gabriel, but to Muhammad, and Muhammad was illiterate till the day he died. How the fuck you gonna get a Quran from a motherfucker that was illiterate till the day he died? Which was written by a Jew and all that. But Belial, actually, they say the slave, which actually wrote it. I'm on these planes, and they got this recycled air with these crackers. And so every time I get off one, I have to, yeah, we got to tell them spirits, right? Knock that shit out. Okay, yeah, go ahead and cut it off. We go. Some trails out there you got to watch out for. We went out yesterday, and they must have dropped something. A sister called us from California and said they had dropped something in the sky and got everybody coughing. We went out yesterday, and last night when I got out, I said something is wrong. We did, something is wrong, and didn't do anything. I had on this wool shirt, so I knew it wasn't changing the weather, and it's the chemtrails out there. They dropping some stuff from the sky, it's very key. So I went and got some cough syrup. See what that is. You want stuff to work. Now, okay. Now, let me, first of all, I've been in the spirit realm for the last 15 years, last 13 years. It's been I've been in the spirit realm for 15 years. Hell, it was about 9 years before I even knew I was in it. So 5 years, I didn't even know that I was in it. You see what I'm saying? And I know about the spirit realm. And that's why I can tell you, not just based on ample study, which is key too, because because I studied for 10 years on different systems before I even got into the damn zone. Now, first part of my study for the first 10 years of it was to access all of this esoteric information. And I went to the bookstore damn near every day and numerous amounts of things. But since 2000, I've been in the spirit realm as far as a crossover into the particular realm. Now, I know all about the whole alien thing and all this type of thing, but ain't no green-looking people out here coming. Ain't nobody being abducted. The people that's being abducted, that's European phenomenon, and that's the United States government. There's a book, Man-Made UFOs, from 1947 to 1994. That's when the book came out. And in so many words, there's two kinds of UFOs, or two kinds of spacecraft. The things we deal with are not physical. Never were and never will be. The things that are physical that abduct people started from Area 51, and that is the United States government and the powers that be. Think about it. Why in the hell would somebody have the kind of technology to get here light years away? Abduct somebody. They would have, they pretty much know, and my point is this here. It's interesting here, all this UFO phenomenon, we don't never see that shit in the ghetto. You don't have no reports of no black people being abducted damn near, and if they are, you get one or two, like I knew one black woman who was the government fucking with her. But all these white folks being abducted, and this is when you really ask this question. If all this abduction going on and all this UFO phenomenon, what they talking about, why are they hitting the black community? Black people walking around oblivious to the information.
You know, when people get abducted, they don't come back in good spirits.
No, let me, man, listen to me, man. Now look, you asked me to come here. Now you can deal with spookism, or you can deal with straight up scholarship and straight up experience. There is no aliens out in the universe. It's irrational. Think about this. I want you to think of this is information, but let me try to explain something to you. Now just listen to me. It is irrational. Let me explain something to you, brother. Let me show you something. You Nuwabian, right?
I'm a brother.
Well, are you Nuwabian?
Yeah, we all Nuwabians.
And I'm going to show you something when I'm talking about mind control. We get to the bottom of this. Since I got in the car with you, and since you've been sitting here, you have asked me to document my sources. You ain't dare ask Dr. York not once to document his damn sources. You took his shit as face value.
You can't say that, but I don't want to.
Now, come on, man, come on now. You took his shit as face value because the simple fact is there ain't no bibliography in the back of his books.
That's not true. That's not true. You got some.
Majority of that shit, man, come off the dumb shit.
Nah, I'm telling you.
Majority of that stuff, because I've been knowing this man long before you even, when Egypt was evil in 1990, with the Leviathan books from 1990. This the same man that attacked Dr. Ben in 1990, when Egypt was evil and the ark was a symbol of the devil. Now, I ain't got to say you can get all his Leviathan books in 1990.
But it depends on what school we going through, though. Yeah.
Man, look, this what I'm trying to say is this, look. Now, check it out now. You can deal with scholarship. You can deal with scholarship. And you can deal with the real shit, and you can stay in the fantasy world. Now, the choice is yours. You see what I'm saying? Now, the choice is yours. Because I've been out here long goddamn time, and the government been knowing about me for years, but they don't dare want to fuck with me. You see what I'm saying? They don't want to fuck with me. You see what I'm saying? Harvard, the government received my information in 1994. They got all my shit. And Harvard came, Yale came, Dartmouth, and all these colleges started calling me to come lecture. And I already know what that was. Because the same time was the same Miles College. They came, Miles or not Miles, it was King's College that came and got College to come up there. College to come up there. And then attack him and the whole congressional shit. So I'm trying to say, it ain't no big deal. I'm just trying to say, the reason why they don't fuck with me because they don't want to fuck with me. Now I'm just trying to say, I'm trying to say this here. This is what I'm trying to tell you. The majority of that shit ain't got no fucking bibliography. You see what I'm saying? They got no doggone bibliography. And what I'm trying to say here, there's a progression of information. Now you can learn the information, and that's going to take you to the other thing, or you can push your foot around and believe shit. The difference between your belief system and what's real. Now, just rational alone, why the hell would somebody come down here, bypass the majority of people in the ghetto, which is the people who are the original people and the indigenous people, and go straight to some crackers and abduct them and do all this kind of work with them? You see what I'm saying? My point here is, if you got that kind of technology, and it is proven we got the knowledge to know every science of what in the world. If we got that kind of technology, why the fuck we gonna come and abduct somebody to experiment on them? We supposed to already know that.
You know
what I'm trying to say here, that's government hoax. There are no physical UFOs. Now there are vessels out there, but they're not spiritual. They're not physical. They are spiritual. And the things that we are dealing with are spiritual. I can show them to you tonight. They're out there if you want to see them. I can show you these things tonight, but they're not no tin cans. That's government.
No, sure.
All that UFO information that you're getting and stuff, most of those things are round spacecraft created from Area 51 since 1947. So what has happened is this. You got a conspiracy going on. I just want to say this one thing. You got spiritual things that is out there coming from other dimensions other than planets. It's a difference. Planet hell, Sirius takes you 8 light years to get from, and that's one of the closest ones in the fall of our solar system. You see what I'm saying? Hell, we can't even go to a motherfucking China, we can't go across time without running out of gas. So the cracker can't even produce no fuel that could take us from one planet to the other. Hell, he ain't never even been to the goddamn moon. That's fake. They created that right out in Hollywood. It's even in the movie Diamonds Are Forever. Sean Connery's last movie before he came back in 83, in his last movie as James Bond, they hoped that was a whole hoax. And everybody in that Apollo program from 1961, the majority of the people are dead. They faked all of that type of stuff. My point here is this. Now try to understand this type of thing. The physical side of the UFOs, what it was, there was a whole spiritual side that people had been seeing things all over the world that they were going to have to answer to. So the government decided to come in with the physical stuff, start abducting people, have the same little old green bug-eyed suits. Now the green bug-eyed suits, if you get the movie Fire in the Sky and go to they was on the ship, they showed a closet full of the suits hanging up. So when these people report seeing the same thing, those are suits that these people get into, and they drug these people all up and they see the same images. The real image that came from Aleister Crowley's vision of Lamb that he got in 1919 at a aired at Greenwich Village up in New York City, and they took that picture of Lamb. Let's see if I got the pictures of Lamb. They took that picture of Lamb and put the bug eyes and been seeing the same little shit over and over again. That is government. That is government. You see what I'm saying? My point here is, I deal with the same spirit trap. I got one following me all the time. It's been following me the whole time. The other week I was on the plane and the plane dipped. Everybody kind of jumped, and I looked outside and the ship was right out there. But I know what that ship is. It ain't no physical ship with no bug-eyed people from no other planet. It's no different. Even your boy Pat Robertson. You got to understand these crackers that run this world. The ones that's on TV. They don't run this world for not knowing. Even Pat Robertson, when Independence Day came out, he said the people are looking for this physical bullshit. See, this is when, he do all that Jesus shit, but then he had to come on and he started dropping. Because cracker don't put no cracker, got a whole network if he ain't down with the Illuminati and all that shit. He do the Jesus shit to keep motherfuckers dead. You see what I'm saying? He came in and said, you motherfuckers thinking there's physical ships out here. He said, but there are spacecraft and there are aliens. But he said this, but they are angels. They are entities. There was a book called Thompson put out called Angels and Aliens back in the early 90s. You still might be able to get it. But the thing about it here is this here. Now you talking about that thing out there. The Michael Talbot's book, The Holographic Universe, and he's getting it from the occult realms. It's all explained in the Kabbalistic system, which came off the Temple of Komombo in Egypt and the Temple of Dendera in Kemet. You see what I'm saying? Temple of Dendera in Kemet. See, this is what I say. You ought to be able to trace certain things back to when your people were speaking and make the analogy. Then these crackers and new motherfuckers coming up with this new shit that you can't find. Right here is the same concept of the UFO, where you see these gods among the boat. You see that all over Kemet, especially the Temple of Dendera. The gods among the boat. Now, this is the key on that, is this. These gods are nothing but components of us, so that means that we are connected with the ships. I'm going to get into all that type of thing because I gave you something in your package that looked like this. You will see something in your package. See, this is based on scholarship. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying you can fool around Go ahead.
Now, what about things like the Dogon tribe? And what about things like the?
Yeah.
What about because the Dogon tribe talks about what they call the nomos.
The nomos. I got an extensive study on that. My first tape was on the Dogon.
They talk about the ark and the ark.
Nomos ark.
And then what about the ancient Tamarans where they talk about the different troglodytes or the reptilian beings? Or what do they talk about?
Okay, look. All right, we're going to get into all that. That's good stuff.
How about the zoo?
Wait a minute.
What about Shaka Zulu?
You fucking with the master.
What about the 100 billion stars in the sky?
Wait a minute. What I'm trying to tell you is this.
Nobody know that.
Listen to me. I just said, I didn't say that there weren't aliens in spacecraft. I said that they weren't physical.
I'm just checking you.
No. Wait
I
a minute, hold on. What I'm trying to say is this. Now listen to me. Now go back. Everything I just said, didn't I just show a picture? Y'all got to listen to what I'm saying here.
That's how
Just listen to me.
I feel you.
Listen, I just said, I didn't say that there were spacecraft and, hey, no, you're going to get this. I gave him one. But I'm talking about there's a yantra in there. Let me hear what you think. There's a picture that's folded up.
Oh, okay.
Right here. This thing right here.
Ah, okay.
This is called a Sri yantra. Later on, you know it as the Mandela in Tibet. You know the Mandela in Tibet. Now, let me give you some examples. This is where we get trapped. In Hemmitt and around the world, they call the Nagars in Asia, in India. They call the Uraeus crown in Hemmitt. You see the serpent all over the world. Now you got a bunch of new niggas come up like David Icke and a bunch of people telling you that they are physical reptilians, and that was a cloak. That was a whole government setup. Let me explain this shit to you. The reptilian people mean the people of the Uraeus crown, which means the people who have full access to the Kundalini energy. That's us. That's what it's talking about. Hell, even in science, they talk about a reptilian brain and all of this type of thing, which is talk about cerebral cortex. It's the people with the full access to the Kundalini energy inside of us. Now then you get, this should start with Zachariah Sitchin. Zachariah Sitchin works for the Jews. The Jews in 1978 said, look, we realize now that the whole Egyptology and all this type of stuff is getting away from the branch of Hebrew that came out of Kemet, and now we must come in and we must not only did we try to carve out a history for ourselves with this, with Judaism, now we got to go into this metaphysical thing and we got to carve out another ancient metaphysical history, and they chose the main scholar, Zachariah Sitchin. And all of a sudden, what used to be the reptilian, which was talking about the Uraeus crown and the